Columnist, best-selling author, cold water swimmer, multiple marathon runner. There's very little our next guest can't do. And now we can add podcaster. Her brand new podcast, The Life of Bryony, has just launched. So please welcome the brilliant Bryony Gordon.
All right, Bryony.
Oh, what an intro.
Look at you today, and look at you here as the doyen of the Daily Mail. Look at her. Where's the damehood? Come on.
I'm not sure that will ever come.
Brilliant article yesterday.
Thank you.
Brilliant article yesterday. And the podcast has happened. You've given birth to the Life of Bryony. How does it feel? Can I get you anything?
It feels. I everyone has a podcast, don't they?
Yes.
So I feel. But I did have a podcast about 6-7 years ago, 8 years ago actually, which was a mental health podcast, and then no one really knew what podcast. They're like, no, we're not interested.
It did well though, didn't it?
Yeah, well, we had like Prince Harry and Hunter Biden, but people didn't quite get it. So this.
Do you think it helped him or not? Because after that,
doing my
podcast, didn't he? Was that what it did for him?
I think it was what opened. Yeah, no, I think it obviously anyone coming on a podcast with me, it will help you.
Yeah,
it will do wonders.
Your eyes are so bright.
No one knew who Prince Harry was before he came on my podcast.
That's almost true. Well, they do now. Had you met Meghan by then?
No, I met her afterwards.
Okay, so it was BM before Meghan.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was before Meghan. Yeah, no, yeah. I think she probably. I think she was the one that told him to do the podcast.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah,
so she had met him, otherwise she wouldn't.
Yeah, but I hadn't met him.
All right, okay, got it.
Obviously, it's all about me.
Well, I remember that caused us thinking all the right ways. That podcast, that conversation in particular. But the Life of Bryony. I mean, it's often about the title. You know, you come up with a great title for a game show. The game show sort of writes itself. The life, always look on the bright side of life of Bryony, the Life of Bryony. Who came up with the title? Where were you?
I came up. Well, Monty Python obviously came up with the title.
No, that was the Life of Bryony.
But, yeah,
they were pre-stealing from you.
I came up. I thought, ooh, the Life of. But when I suggested it to the podcast person at the Mail, I was like, I've got this idea. Maybe we could call it the Life of Bryony, because I was so embarrassed.
Yeah, and then this podcast person went running around the corridors going,
yes!
She's the Life of Bryony. Oh my god!
So it is basically everything in my head.
Brilliant.
In podcast form, so it's like an excuse for me to talk to my friends and or people I'm interested in each week about all the stuff that we kind of have in our heads, but we never are able to vocalize. The stuff that we feel a bit ashamed about.
Yeah.
You know,
something else beginning with sh.
I've been very honest about recovery from alcoholism and OCD and depression and eating disorders, and I've run marathons in my pants and my bra, and I just wanted to kind of have a space where we could like shed light on the dark.
It's superb, and you're radiating more than ever today.
Oh, thanks.
Because of this. I mean, you were brilliant at Carfest. Thank you for hosting Carfest. The Life of Bryony Festival is only a couple of summers away, isn't it? It's got to be. This is a world.
There's only one festival for me, Chris.
Oh, that's so nice
and
of you to say
Carfest.
so. No, that's so nice to say so. But if you want to pilot the Life of Bryony Festival at our festival, because we can do that and then go and do it off on your own for whatever. I don't care. We'll do it with the Mail, do it with anybody. As long as it serves people, do it, babe.
Will you come on the podcast?
I will come on the podcast to promote your new Life of Bryony Festival, which I'm going to help to architect and engineer, but not own any piece of. It's all yours. The Life of Bryony, oh my God, it's such a gift. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Higher power. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's already up there, isn't it? First one.
The first one is I spoke to Adele Roberts, who I know you've had on this show.
Yeah, I listened to the podcast.
Adele is incredible in recovery from bowel cancer. Yep. She is so she ran the London Marathon a year ago with her stoma, who she calls Audrey, and she ran the fastest marathon with a stoma. She won a Guinness World Record, and she did the marathon in the same time it takes me to run a half marathon.
She's amazing.
I've got the Guinness World Record for slowest marathon.
Have you actually?
Without a stoma.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Well done. I might try and break that next year.
So anyway, Adele came in and we had this just gorgeous conversation about how actually, weirdly, she'd always had very low body confidence and self-confidence generally. which you would never have known. I'd met her many times before through her work as a DJ, and it was when she was diagnosed with bowel cancer in 2021 that she suddenly and she woke up and she'd got this stoma, that she suddenly realised what a miracle her body was and how she needed to respect it. And I just think we spend so much time hating on our bodies, and life is so short and so precious. And I really wanted to have those conversations because I've wasted, like, we're coming to the end of the summer, right, Chris? And it's probably, if we're really, really lucky, we will get 80 summers. Yeah. Right. And some of us, you're not women, obviously, but as women, a lot of my summers have been stolen by diet culture, by this thing of I can't go on the beach in a bikini or a swimsuit and I'm feeling really self-conscious. And I just think can I say sod self-consciousness?
Do you want?
Like, life is too short. And I hate to think of women spending any more moments of their precious lives hating on their bodies.
And when you weren't doing that, you were drinking those summers away, as I was, and we're all exactly where we're meant to be because of everything that's happened before. So no judgment there, especially on ourselves. Yeah. Because the judgment, our pejorative perspective on everybody else starts and is actually only our pejorative perspective on ourselves, isn't it? It's all projection. But
also summer's actually, that's a really interesting thing, because summer to me was always about rosé, about sitting in a pub garden. Yeah. It was about getting out of it. And actually I got sober 7 years ago after the last bank holiday, and I remember I was walking from what was my last night out, and it was like,
did you know?
And I didn't know, but I saw a conker on the floor and I thought it's too early for conkers, because I told myself I was always like, I'm going to give up at the end of the summer.
So you tried to move nature.
My daughter was about to start school, about to start reception. And I remember seeing that conker and thinking, no. And I was in such resistance to just life in itself. And I went out and I got completely wasted. And I got home at 10 in the morning with my husband and my precious 4-year-old daughter, like, where have you been? And the other day, literally this weekend, I was walking on the same spot on my local common I was running with my daughter who was on her scooter. She's just started secondary school, and we found a conker, and I was like, look at this glorious conker, Edie. And she was like, what are you on about, Mum? And she has no memory of me as a drunk mum. And I don't know, like, life is just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And life, and also I want to say to anyone listening, that's the hope I want to give you from this podcast, is that you could be in a really dark place right now. You might be hungover or still drinking or in a terrible depression. And I want to tell you that you won't always be like that, and things change and it's okay. And I've been there in the darkness, and we can go into the light.
So don't fear the conquer.
Don't fear the conquer.
Don't fear the
Embrace
conquer, man.
the conquer.
I'm going to write that on my gym wall, my garage wall. I'm going to go home today, get a big Sharpie out. Don't fear the conquer.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to collect conkers.
The 32 most important lessons I've learned from life so far. This was in the paper yesterday. Yeah. We kept the paper for today because you were coming in.
Thank you.
And I'm like, this is your version of sunscreen. This is it. All we need is a bit of Baz Luhrmann in here.
Yeah, wear sunscreen is one of the tips.
I know it is. I referenced it earlier on. And then we talked. There's just Baz Luhrmann's birthday today. It's so weird. Baz. It's so serendipitous. Great. So the Life of Bryony podcast is out. That's why Bryony's in. She's in to let you know that that's out. Okay, but all things Bryony. So much love for you. Kirsty Gallagher was on the show earlier on because it's a new moon tonight, and she's talking about the differences.
I'm wearing her necklace.
Yeah, I know.
Look,
you must give her back.
Her goddess necklace. No, she gave it to me. I haven't stolen it off her.
So who were you hanging out with at Carfest? I saw some great Insta pictures of you. We didn't see each other. We were so busy.
So busy. I did. I had so many amazing. Anita Rani. They were all my favourites. But Kalung Gelong Thupten.
Yeah.
The monk.
Thupten. Yeah.
Who wrote Handbook for Hard Times. Yeah. What a legend.
Yeah.
I really just loved talking to him, and we swapped numbers, followed each other on Instagram, which felt very Buddhist, very Zen.
Mm-hmm. I thought his name, I call him Gelong when he comes in, but that just means monk.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought he was Gelong, like Bryony Gordon, Gelong Tubton. His name's Tubton, isn't it?
Tubton. Yeah. Maybe I should need to get him on the podcast. With
you've got to get him on the podcast. Yeah, well, I need to orchestrate the Life of Bryony festival first. Seriously. I think we should have a whole section of car festivals here called the Life of Bryony, and then it works, and then you just take it out, hike it out, and we'll get you some new feels of your own, and people will flock to that. They will love the Life of Bryony.
Not to blow smoke up your behind, but Carfest is our family's favourite weekend of the year. My daughter absolutely loves it. It's like she thinks it's Glastonbury,
right?
And it is. It's like my Glastonbury. Like there's such
it's a bit safer. It's a bit
safer. There's less
drugs.
There's just a genuinely. I went to another quote unquote family festival to do a book talk earlier this year, and there was a really bad vibe. Lots of drinking, lots of with parents, with children with their sort of headphones on.
But it's work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
At least they're in a field.
They're at least in a field. But Carfest has got such good energy.
Yeah. Well, it has now. Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Thank you. Well, you bring the energy to it. all the guys. It's about the people, isn't it? We're all mini transmitters. We're transmitters, and when you get everybody or a lot of people in the same field out in nature transmitting on the same frequency, then guess what? You get like a Radio 2 size of kind of what's it called? Antenna? Not antenna, but a mast. You get the big signal pumping out there again, man.
The energy.
Yeah, it's great.
Have you got more woo-woo as you get older?
I've got more woo, but I see it less as woo. So, like, the whole thing about Kirsty and the moon, right? Yeah. So I used to think that was woo-woo. Now, I'm like, of course it's not woo-woo. The moon is a massive magnet. It affects the oceans. The world is 70% water. We're 70% water. Surely it must affect us in a similar way. That's not woo-woo. That's just facts.
That's what's science.
Well,
sort of.
I would say it's science. Scientists would perhaps argue, but we know that scientists never change their mind. They just die. And also... I think only 1% of things can be knowable from a scientific point of view, or are known from a scientific point of view. The potential for that to increase to 2% is 100% of science's potential. Therefore, 98% of things that happen are unknowable anyway. So why can't woo-woo be one of them?
I think the moon, all of this stuff is essentially, it's higher power stuff. It's believing in a power bigger than yourself, and I find that so comforting.
Comforting is the word.
Because it's like what the phrase I come back to is being right-sized. Because when I'm locked in my head, which I am most days as a writer, I'm usually at home in my pants writing books or whatever, or columns. Or
do you hold the world record for writing in your pants?
Yeah, I do as well. Yeah, slowest. But I can get really stuck in my own head, and I think that there's a great phrase which is like a friend of mine called, "You think you're a piece of poop." I've starred that out, that the world revolves around.
Yeah.
And it is that thing of like ego in the penthouse, self-esteem in the basement. Mm-hmm. And for me, that is really, my problems can become so huge, and I can really think that that my world's about to end. And when I connect to something like full moons, lunar cycles, anything, higher, anything, nature, the universe, I just think, oh no, it's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
Everything passes.
Our favourite realisation of the last few weeks has been, if you're feeling like a hot shot, you need to work yourself up to servant.
Oh.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you just reminded me of it, penthouse and basement. So your ego's in the penthouse, your self-esteem is in the basement. That's exactly the same thing. And Kirsty was on stage. She's saying, look, if you feel like your world has been upside down for ages and ages and ages, no, if you feel like a decision of letting go will turn your world upside down, maybe that's the right thing to do, even though you sense it may be counterintuitive, because you may already have been upside down and you need to turn yourself the right way up. It's the opposite of what you think it's going to be. And often this counter thing, they talk about it a lot in AA, don't they? Counter think. When you're feeling angry, be nice.
Do the thing you think you can't.
You can't, yeah. Because that's the whole thing about addiction, isn't it? You don't think you can do all this stuff, so you start to consume something that you think might help, but it just anesthetizes things, and you start to consume your feelings, whether you're eating them, drinking them, having sex with them, whatever it is, because you don't think you can do all the things you can do.
Yeah. Also, it's about humility, isn't it? It's about admitting that sometimes we're wrong.
Yeah, but it's great. I mean, humans are made of mistakes.
Yeah, but
it's our job to go out and be wrong every day. It's our job to be wrong.
But I wish we were more open about that and more amenable to it, because I think in an age of social media, we go, well, you say this thing now, but look, 5 years ago, you tweeted this and you thought the complete opposite. You're a hypocrite. And actually, being open to the fact that minds change and that our opinions on things change is, and that actually something I thought 5 years ago, I now realise was wrong, is just really beautiful.
What's the point of having a mind if you never change it?
Yes.
All right, so we can dive into some of these. We're talking to Bryony Gordon about the Life of Bryony, her new podcast, and everything else Bryony. By the way, whenever you come on the show, and whenever Kirsty Gallagher comes on the show, and by the way, we knew the show today was serendipitous because I brought stuff in to talk about, and the first 3 WhatsApps were about the things that I wanted to talk about, but I hadn't mentioned them. And they were all quite big deals. And then, today we get you and Kirsty on the same show. I mean, literally, as far as women are concerned, you two cause the most positive stink via our WhatsApp than anybody else that comes on.
Really?
Congratulations. Yeah. These 32 things, where do you want to go? Should we just stick a pin in? Should we just do it?
Go
See what
on,
happens? I've got to stick literally, I'm sticking a pin in that one. What's that one? Don't be scared of the menopause.
Yes, don't be scared of the menopause,
Number
Chris.
16. Yes.
No, because I think the menopause is a glorious opportunity.
Well, Kirsty talks about it. She talks about the power within the menopause.
Yes.
And the power of the blood.
The witchy magic.
Yeah.
Well, I went through quite an early menopause. Oh, we're really getting into it this morning. And it was pretty horrific for a year or so. But I really believe that the things it brought up for me mentally were like the universe's way of saying, this is what you need to deal with if you want to move into the next 40 years of your life and be content and happy and free.
I love that expression on your face now. I wish you could see this now. That was so determined. That was so she-warrior.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I care less, I really do care less. Also because this was the best thing.
On.
I went on, as part of my HRT, I went on testosterone.
Right.
And I'm like, this is what it's like to be a man. Sort of slightly horny all the time and don't really care.
Not in the case of myself and Vassos. We had our testosterone checked and we broke the world record for low testosterone. You were particularly gutted because you do a lot of weight training. I was like, fair enough.
You need to get on this. You need to get on the testo gel.
I know. All right, let's stick a pin in again. Okay, ready? I'm going to stick a pin in. I know that this is like in the top 10. First 10, not top 10. If you censor what you say, the relationship isn't healthy.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing it for the right reasons, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's okay to be occasionally, to be sensitive to people occasionally. But I think if you're constantly censoring yourself, you're probably... And also the other thing is, if you feel that you have to dim your light for someone, that person is not for you. Like the people, this is the thing I've learned.
I used to do that all the time.
Yes, and the people...
But that's what drinking is. Drinking dims your light for you.
Yes, it does. But also people that are a bit like, settle down, Bryony, or whatever. Actually, what I've learned is that the people that are for you will feel lit up by your light and your dazzle.
Yeah, turn me up. Give me more.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is, those who mind don't matter, those who matter don't mind.
Yeah, that's why I have a tattoo that says dazzle now on my wrist.
Come on. Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, I go for another one. It's never about you. That's interesting about the universe because, you can think that you are the centre, you are the piece of, the centre of everybody else's universe. And the thing is, you are, because... we are all the centre of our own universes. Mm-hmm. And so that's okay, but it's dualistic because by definition, you're therefore also not the centre of anybody else's universe on the planet, but you are your own. And that's one of life's tricks. Yeah. And that's where I think we're allowed a bit of mitigation there. We should cut ourselves a bit of slack.
Totally. But I also think so I hear this from women who are scared of going to the gym or running, right? And they're like, but someone will laugh at me or they think I'm too fat and I'm like, I promise you, no one is paying any attention to you because they're all having the same conversations in their heads. And if, on the unlikely event they are thinking that about you, frankly, they've got problems, not you.
They've got the most problems. Yeah. They've got the most problems. Yeah. So, where we live in Marlow, often at the weekend there's a run of some sort. This weekend just gone was a big weekend. There was like loads of runs going across the bridge because Marlow Bridge is a beautiful place to run across when you're going anywhere from London-ish to Oxford-ish. And there's some 100-milers, some 10Ks. And it seemed like everybody was out running. There were, I'm going to say, thousands of people running across our bridge over the weekend. Some 10Ks, some 5Ks. There was some 100K runners, and then there were 100K walkers. 100K runners on the Saturday, 100K walkers on the Sunday. And Tasha and I, we are literally moved to tears when we see bigger people running. Because, it's like, yes, go on. Go for it, because of the conversation they may have had with each other or themselves. They may not have had it, of course, but we know it's tougher for anyone depending on what mindset they're in. Tall, skinny, thick, thin, whatever, And whenever we saw some really bigger people taking part over the weekend, and it was like, good for you. And I think some of them were doing the 100K.
Wow.
It was pretty impressive.
What's so important for me, I think, as a size 20 woman who runs, a lot, I think for me the shift happened when I started to exercise for the way it made me feel rather than the way it made me look. And I think for a lot of us, and I think it's the case with men as well, but particularly with women, we grow up in this culture whereby exercise is all about the losses. It's about shrinking ourselves. It's about making ourselves smaller.
Gains.
And actually, when you do it for the gains, the mental clarity, the kind of sense of achievement, and I get so many messages from people, telling me that running. It's this interesting thing. I think obese, larger people such as myself, we serve a really useful purpose in the universe, which is obese people are a group of people that others can look down on and feel smugly superior to. And you see that. So when larger people run, they're too fat, they need to get out and exercise. They do get out of exercise, and then they get told that they're going to do damage to your joints. This is a terrible idea. These are the messages I get. I get messages all the time from strangers telling me that they're concerned about my joints. I'm like, you are not concerned about my joints. All you're concerned about is feeling superior to me.
I'll tell you what, they're not concerned about your joints, and they're also not concerned about their own, because that is major projection. That is nuclear scale projection.
So, but also you see it now with everyone like Ozempic, and people, lose weight, but don't lose weight on Ozempic. That's the wrong way to lose weight. There's so much judgment out there.
So much noise. I've
gone off piece now.
Let's just get with the right tribe. The point is, get with the right tribe. If you are with runners, whether they're trail runners or couch to 5Ks or cyclists or amblers or a gardening collective, they ain't going to judge you. It's like going to AA. It's not a place where you're judged. It's the opposite. You're encouraged. You're welcome, first of all, with open arms. You're welcomed by not just one pair of open arms, but a circle of open arms. And then their circle is closed, but not to keep you out. It's closed to keep them together. But if they see a newcomer, they will open that circle. They will welcome you to that circle. And all you have to do is join in. You don't have to start. You don't have to get yourself up for it. And by the way, you don't even have to join in. You can just hang out until you feel like joining in. Or you don't feel like joining in, go home. Think about joining in next week. Get with the right tribe. Get with the people who have got your back, who want the best for you because they've discovered the best for themselves.
Yeah. And also, when you're with things like running and exercising, don't get out of your head this whole notion of how quickly you should be going or how strong you should be. You need to be the fastest, the quickest, the strongest. Just go at your pace. I saw something actually in the news yesterday about how apparently slow running, plodding along, is much better for your heart than going really fast.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, it doesn't matter. Look, the fact if you're plodding, you're not sitting. If you can plod. If you can walk. If you can walk quickly. If you can start to shuffle. If you start to jog. If you can't run, doesn't matter. Just move. Get out there and move. Mood follows action. Whether it's get off the flipping sofa, sell it, cut the arm off that does the stealing.
No, because it's nice to have a sofa.
No, yeah, I'm just going to. I don't.
To flop back on after you've done the thing.
And definitely don't fly tip your sofas, because that's a nightmare for everyone. We're out of time. But we're not out of juice, are we? We've only just started.
Yeah.
You look fantastic.
Thanks.
Honestly.
That's sobriety.
Your eyes are just like sparkling.
Oh, I put makeup on for you.
No, eyes. You can't put makeup on your eyes.
Oh, well,
But make them around the frames.
I'm just going to take this compliment because, here's the other thing. As women, we tend to go, oh no, don't be. We take compliments and we spit on them and we turn them into insults. Yeah. Don't do that today, ladies. If someone compliments you, damn well take it.
I'm not talking about your eyelashes or your eyebrows or your skin. I'm talking about your actual eyes.
Well,
you look great.
Thanks.
Look at all this love. Too much love for Bryony Gordon, not reading these out. No way. No way. It's Chris Evans' show. Says so on that thing behind you. Chris didn't say Bryony Gordon, now and again, maybe. All right, we'll read some about. Please tell Bryony that I utterly adore her and her love seeing her at Carfest from your agent. From Clarence Iron, not your agent. Jeanette says, just to say I love the show today. It was so neat to hear all the messages, and I feel much lighter as well, especially because of Bryony and Kirsty Gallagher.
I mean, we could get a mention a bit, couldn't we?
Rose says, can't get out of the car because Bryony Gordon is so amazing.
Can I just say thank you? I want to give you guys a compliment because
Can you put it in a WhatsApp, please, so I can read it out.
So I'm gonna do this to your face, which is that it's so brilliant that you, Chris Evans, do a breakfast show where you have people like Kirsty Gallagher on and you talk about this stuff because it so subverts expectations, and you're opening up hundreds of thousands people's minds to different things, and that's brilliant.
Hearts and minds.
Hearts and minds.
Hearts and minds and bodies. Bryony Gordon is like a blast of sunshine. Cannot wait to listen to the podcast. Happy Tuesday to you all. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, Bryony, and thank you, Chris. I'm in recovery with anorexia at the moment, so needed to hear what Bryony just said regarding stopping hating your body. It's a miracle. It needs respecting. That is a kick at the backside I needed. I'm forever grateful. Do you want to speak to that?
I want to say, don't kick yourself up the backside. You can't hate your body into health. Give your bum and give your body a hug today. Like, put your arms around it. And just remember how goddamn precious you are. Yeah. And I'm sending through the radio a massive hug to you.
Meantime, Bryony awaits her damehood. If you haven't seen the picture... Who got you to pose like that?
Oh, God. Is
that actually you?
That's an AI representation of me.
That's not really Bryony. And the words are... No, the picture is.
The picture is, but it was taken a long time ago.
Yeah. Right, page 20 on yesterday's mail online. It's still there to be read. You're great. Life of Bryony podcast out now. Life of Bryony Festival coming to you soon. Courtesy of me. I'm going to make it happen, and I'm going to run for the hills. All right, is that cool? Thank you, Bryony. Should we have a controlled round of applause, class behind the glass, for Bryony Gordon?